such a small group here.
Intimate.
Intimate, we could, put the big show on. So the title of this morning's sermon is Our Cherished Hope is for Unity, Part 2. I was going over my notes from the first sermon that I gave, Our Cherished Hope is for Unity, and I was thinking I really didn't hit the nail on the head. It didn't really go where I thought I wanted it to go.
Use the microphone, it helps me.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. And so I went back and I realized the point I think that I tried to make last time was that this is our ideal, is our hope for unity. And I think we can probably remember True Father leading us in this song, Our Cherished. You know, he loved this, and this is really what we're striving for, what we're really, really looking for. And also, that I tried to emphasize last time anyway, is that it is our individual portion of responsibility to accomplish this. It's not going to happen, you know, by magic, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, you know, it's not waving a magic wand. We all have to invest and make effort in accomplishing this. So I wanted to ask, first of all, the audience, everybody here, what, you know, in a few words, 1 word, 2 words, have you ever really experienced unity? Or have you, or what does unity look like to you? Does anybody want to say anything? Okay, Mr. Nielsen?
She didn't practice this in front of me or anything, so this is a
Uh-oh.
regular answer. A unity is balance, peacefulness,
Okay,
cooperation.
okay, thank you. Anybody else? Unity. Joyful. Joyful, okay. Yeah, it's kind of mysterious, or, you know, we sing about it, we talk about unification. We're the members of the Unification Church, but really, what is unity? What does that really mean to us? So, you've probably heard of the 3 tour groups. Have you ever? There's the Japanese tour group, you know, and they have the little red flag, and the Japanese people tend to be very organized and united and following each other perfectly in order. Then there's the Korean tour group, where everyone is sitting around arguing who's going to be the leader of the tour group. And then there's the American tour group, where nobody can get anywhere because we're all running off in our own directions, doing what we want to do as individuals. So unity is different to different people. However, this is what we are trying to accomplish. This is what we really want. In Luke, Jesus was talking about and trying to teach fundamentally to his congregation and to us eventually. When he says, give and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over and poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. It's just so profound to me, the way that he poetically expresses that if you want to create unity, if you want to educate and lead, you have to give first, and you have to give first to the fullest extent, and then what you give will be returned to you. Also in Matthew, he says, whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. Again, a message of, if you do first, if you initiate, if you take responsibility first, then God will be able to work through you and we can accomplish God's will together. This is how I am trying to glean from these messages of what Jesus and our true parents are teaching, that it really is up to me to be the one to initiate. If I want to create unity within my family, I can't just sit back and expect something to happen to me. I have to be the one to take responsibility and invest first. If I want to make a friendship with somebody, then I have to initiate first. So it comes down to really being alone many times, as Jesus was, as our true parents are, and sometimes we might feel that ourselves. We're a small movement. We haven't been able to, in a lot of ways, impact the world in the way that we wanted to do that. But yet we're still being asked and called by our true parents to believe in this ideal, to believe in the unification, to believe in how we're going to accomplish this ideal. So I wanted to give a couple examples from my own life also as to how I was not able to be the most united person. Back in the good old days on MFT, perhaps some of you all know Larry Krishnick,
Oh, yeah.
longtime MFT commander. He was our captain at one point. And so on a Sunday night, he takes us out to the movie theater. And I was so united, I thought, with my team captain. We went to the movie theater and I followed him straight into the men's bathroom.
Oh.
Because I wasn't looking where I was going. I wasn't paying attention, but I was united, And there was another experience I had with True Father, actually. And it was up in Barrytown. And I don't know if many of you or any of you, I know Sharon, I think you did, when there was the fishing providence, when Father was, I think it was almost by an accident, he had found that the Hudson River and the inlet there on the bay of Barrytown, where UTS is, the water is very, very polluted. And there were these carp fish that were swimming in there, and they were diseased. They were full of open sores and wounds, these carp fish that were in there. So Father had the idea, let's take these carp fish and catch them, and then he created a pond up in the Barrytown property of fresh, clean water and transport the fish from the dirty water into the clean water, and they would revive and become healthy. So he had this specific technique where he would stretch a net out across the inlet of the bay, and then when the tide would lower, the water would go out and the fish were supposed to get caught in the net. So in order for us to go out there and catch these fish, we had to go into this stinky, muddy black water that was full of these little things called devil heads. And my husband saved one of those, but I didn't bring it with me. But they were these horrible, spiky things that could actually rip your flesh apart. So it was really not pleasant. We had to put on these duct tape around your pants and your socks and wear long sleeve shirts and cover up to here because the mud and all these black devil heads could get into your clothes. So Mother was there at this time, Father was there, and Mother was really encouraging us to go into the water and get these fish. And because some people didn't want to go in there. But I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I go in there. And again, I wasn't really paying attention to where I was going. But I was just so determined to unite, and get one of these fish. And somehow, I found myself separated from the main group of the people who were in the water. And it looked like everyone was having such a great time. They were catching all these fish, and they were putting them in their big barrels, and everyone was having such a great, and I found myself separated, and in this part where nobody could see me, and the water got really super thick and muddy, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm kind of stuck here, and it was really hard to get out of the mud, but I finally did, pulled myself out. I didn't catch any fish, and when you had to walk up near the train tracks to get out of this muddy water. And I was completely, 100% covered in black mud. I even had it in my mouth. I was just like, from head to toe, just sheer this oily, black, dirty mud. And Father was waiting for us when we would come out of the water, And I just remember thinking, somehow I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I was trying so hard. I thought I was so united with this great mission, but I couldn't catch anything. Later on, Father talked about catching those carp, and he said that it's like witnessing. And he said that you should when you get the fish, don't just grab it and aggressively go after the fish. Just gently hold it and then turn it over on its back like a baby, and put it in, then cradle it and put it into the water. So it was an amazing lesson anyway, an amazing experience. of being with True Father and seeing how he was so carefully trying to teach us through this life experience about witnessing and how to, take responsibility and carry this tender little fish, this with the open wounds, into the fresh water. So, but that was another experience where I myself didn't unite in I was united in the sense that I really wanted to do this. I was aggressively going after the goal, but I couldn't really get the result, I think, because I was not completely centered on the real purpose of taking care and being responsible for this. So, anyway, why isn't this working now?
Point to the thing. Point.
Okay, so this is from True Mother, which I think expresses really what real unity is the prerequisite for freedom and peace. So that is something which I think is important to understand, because when we look at historical situations, before there's any major breakthrough, this is foundation of substance, actually. We make the foundation of faith, and then the foundation of substance is the unity between Cain and Abel. The unity between, Ham and Noah. The unity between Isaac and his father, Abraham. And they have to overcome very complex and difficult, complicated situations in order to create that unity. So it's a prerequisite for freedom and peace. I think about our world today, and I'm thinking, what is this unity, this condition of unity that God is really looking for in order for there to be world peace? For this reason, to go on, a religious movement must arise on this earth that teaches us to achieve complete mastery over the body and is able to unite the people of the world. Jesus started such a movement. Of course, Jesus wasn't able to finish that movement because the people wouldn't unite with Jesus. John the Baptist couldn't unite with Jesus. And so then we had to wait until certain conditions for a unity to take place, then God could work and bring about a different level of peace and unity. So please bear in mind that these words are a warning from God, proclaimed to human beings wading through the muddy waters of a corrupt world in the last days. That makes me think of my fishing experience, wading through the muddy waters, of trying to unite and make the condition to bring the results that God is looking for. So, and then True Father, even in more detail, he says, "Do not Easterners cry over something that makes Westerners weep. The things that make Westerners weep also make Easterners weep. The scenes that make Koreans weep also make their archenemy, the Japanese, weep. The world is united in emotional responses. Are there any differences in parental love between Koreans and Japanese? Are there? No, there aren't. It's all the same. What is the foundation of unity? Certainly not people, nor is it just words. It must be based on feelings." This is important, I really felt, because even though we are united in our actions, like me trying to go out there and fish, or me trying to follow Larry Krishnick into the bathroom, there's an emotional piece that is critical, is the essence of what real unity is all about. So what is the foundation for unity? People are not, nor is it just words. We very easily can listen to words, repeat words, say the right thing. Father said, Bible says, but what's going on in our emotional dimension is not being addressed. It must be based on feelings. It's like a couple in love. What makes them united? They are united on emotional feelings. Isn't that so? Without emotion, it's just an empty shell. What's in a couple without emotion? Any different from a wound-up doll? Just a talking doll. That's all. Just a talking male doll and a talking female doll. They wouldn't be dolls if they could feel emotion. Emotion is painful sometimes. Emotion can really destroy relationships. But it's key and central and important looking for and creating the unity that we're trying to accomplish. Friends feel friendship. Can there be friends without friendship? No, there can't be. People feel patriotism toward their country. When people feel patriotic toward their country, that love for their country can unite them into one people. Don't you think so? Love is the foundation of unity and also of happiness. Without unity, there is no happiness. So as Sharon said, when I asked what is unity, she said joy. Because when we're really united, including our emotional dimension, then we can really and truly experience joy. So it's, a complex situation that we have to address. And I think when it says about patriotism, and I think again about this country, and even the unification of North and South Korea, when you look on the individual level, I'm sure the North Koreans and South Koreans, they all want the same thing. They're all looking for true peace and happiness within their own lives and in relationship to each other. But the emotional complex difficulties of selfishness and arrogance and all these fallen emotions are the real barriers. It's not politics, it's not economy, it's not, the external situations, it's really in the emotional dimension for the secret of true unity to take place. I've been reading the Divine Principle over and over again, trying to unite the 100-hour lecture, and there are certain things in there that I'm like, wow, I never really realized this again. But the condition for true father to be born into the physical world was World War I. That's profound. That is really incredible. Because World War I, as we all know from looking at history, was horrendous. It was really horrible. But that was the necessary condition for the world on some level to come to the point of unity, of compassion, of concern, of like, okay, let's put an end to this. We can't keep fighting like this. That our true father could be born. World War II was the condition for true father, because World War II ended in 1945. Father was born in 1920, he was 26. For him to begin his public mission, the condition for that was World War II. Again, that's profound. Historians will be overwhelmed when in retrospect they're able to look at history in that light. That this is World War I and World War II were completely centered on the fact that for the birth of the Messiah and for his public mission to begin. So where are we at today? We've already experienced the World Trade Tower catastrophe. I mean, and America stood up and we were all united and, flags were waving and we're going to defeat the enemy. But I don't think that was the condition that was needed in order for the victory of unification in this country or in the world to take place. So I'm wondering, we're living in a very tumultuous time period in history today. And we see catastrophes taking place almost every day. It's in the news. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Balloons are now what's coming next. And I think, it's really, we're on the tipping edge of like a major catastrophes could happen, or they could be lessened if we are able to unite and make effort. As I truly believe, the followers of our true parents, if we can really make the necessary conditions internally to unite with our true parents, to end all this catastrophes that is happening in the world today. So, this is from the Divine Principle, because the chosen people of today is the Christian realm. So it's within the Christian realm of responsibility that this condition for unity has to take place. I wanted to close with a speech from True Mother that she gave in December. And to me, holds a lot of secrets in there. And hopefully I will be able to play this. Let's see. How do I get it to start? I think, yeah, can you click it? And start from 2 minutes. We're at the end of the age of darkness. So it's already, the light is already on. World peace is already in the making. But that's not just going to happen again like waving a magic wand. We're the ones, and I'm talking to myself, trying to push myself, to bring the message to Christianity. Because there are Christians who deeply love Jesus Christ, who really and truly, artistically have a real relationship with Jesus. And they want to understand the mysteries of the Bible. They want to understand why this, they're thinking this is the last days, all these horrible things are happening, but we're the ones who have to bring the message to them so that they can unite with our true parents. And I believe that this is what Mother is asking us to do, because this is the foundation that has to take place. Oh, I'm going to get here. Sorry. That was, the Third World War, some people, we're living, it was even proclaimed, I think, that we're living in this is the Cold War now. This is it, we're in it. So, but we can curtail that dilemma. I truly believe it's in the power, our hands, to curtail that dilemma if we are able to unite with the will of our true parents, if we're really able to bring the message to the Christian foundation and reawake Christianity, as our Mother's asking us to do. So, the disciples, they loved Jesus because he worked miracles and he was obviously a very profound person to be around. But they weren't able to truly unite with him in heart and spread the message in their lifetime. And that's why eventually he had to go to the cross. We adore our true parents. Everyone who is a faithful member, living through the difficulties that we've all experienced in our own lifetime, love and adore our true parents. But are we really spreading the message? Again, I'm talking to myself. And doing what our true Mother is asking us to do, to bring this message to the Christian foundation. So, I know there are specific things that we're being asked to do, and we are making effort as a community, but I just really want to call us all together, again, myself included, for greater unity centered upon these activities of reaching out to Christian ministers and trying to spread the word of what our true parents' message is. We've been through very long, difficult course, many of us have, maybe wading through muddy waters. But as Mother says, now we have to open our eyes, we have to wake up. So, simple message, but hopefully we're making strides in the effort to accomplish that. And maybe you can join me in prayer? Good morning, our precious Heavenly Parents and our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. We are really, all of us, so deeply grateful to our true parents for everything that we have in our lives. And we feel on so many levels so indebted to you and to our true parents, already our true Father in the spirit world, our Mother at 80 years old, standing as the vanguard, leading the front lines to help us to spread the message to the foundation of Christianity for world peace. So we pray that you can please guide and bless every person here, the foundation here, the Triangle community in all of North Carolina, and throughout the United States and the rest of the world, that we can realize that now is the time to open our eyes and to curtail, put an end to the world that is so much in conflict and confusion, and bring in the world of heavenly kingdom on earth.
Yes, Father.
We're grateful for this time together in prayer and study, and I report this in my name, Ann Nilsson, and together with all blessed families here in the Nilsson family, adieu. Amen.
Adieu.